Hi guys, Tara here, and thank you so much for joining me for another Crafting with Curlicues video, Close to My Heart edition. Today I am celebrating 50 YouTube subscribers, and I'm going to do a giveaway of this stamp set that I'm using today for you guys. I feel so blessed that I'm able to share my passion with you all, and I just want to give a little something back. So for my card today, what I'm going to do is go ahead and create another card very similar to this one using this fabulous stamp set from Close to My Heart. So I have gone ahead and taken this stamp set as well as some pattern papers. This is a really simple layout, something that you can throw together really quickly. Here's that gorgeous stamp set. This is the stamp of the month from July, and you can see I have an extra one. That's for one of you out there. Yay! So I wanted to demonstrate how to use it here for you, just an easy way. This is the paper pad I used. It's from American Crafts. I picked it up at my local Target. I think that it's really pretty. It's got some really bright, vibrant colors. I really particularly enjoy the floral patterns, and the chevron stripes that I'm going to use today are some of my favorite ones. So that is the paper pad I'm using. And then I used my Mama Elephant Basic Set die collection to go ahead and cut a piece of Simon Says stamp cardstock there, a couple of those paper and pattern papers, and then a piece of vellum. And what I'm essentially going to do is I'm going to heat emboss my sentiments on the vellum and then put it over that pattern paper to kind of mute it, but you can still see the gorgeous pattern coming through in the background. It's just a really pretty way to use your pattern papers and still highlight those sentiments. This stamp set is really great. It has these big, bold sentiments that you can piece together, and it's really pretty, and I was really wanting to showcase the sentiment, but have those patterns show through. So you can see I'm using my Versamark ink. I'm just inking up these different pieces. Really great thing about this stamp set is that the sentiments come kind of broken down into the individual phrases and words so that you can build them up any way that you like. So you saw my first card I made said life is wonderful. This one's going to say always remember something wonderful is about to happen. And that's just how I feel about having this YouTube channel and you guys hanging out with me while I craft. It's just awesome. Life is wonderful. So anyway, that was my little sentimental moment. So you can see I'm just building this sentiment with the 3 different pieces, and I've stamped it all in Versamark, and I'm going to do all my stamping before I sprinkle my powder on. I was able to kind of see and line those up okay, so I felt comfortable doing that. If you weren't comfortable doing it, you could sprinkle your powder in between each new piece, and that's going to give you a better visual of where to do your stamping. So this is my Ranger super fine white detail embossing powder. That's my favorite white embossing powder. And you can see I just sprinkled it over that vellum. I'm going to go ahead and flick off the excess there, and then I'm just going to heat set this. I don't use vellum very often because I'm not really creative about how to adhere it so that you don't see your adhesive through the vellum. But for this particular card design, it just adheres right to the outside of the frame, and I didn't have to worry about that. So I really like the effect that the vellum gives here. So now that that is stamped, I'm going to go ahead and create the frame for the front. So the stamp set also comes with this really cool kind of embellishy frame. This whole stamp set's kind of a chalkboard look, and it would look really cool. I think he embossed in white on some dark cardstock or black cardstock. I think that would look really fabulous. You could even make just like a sign or a canvas to display maybe at your desk at work or something. I think it's just a really cool, versatile stamp set with some really large sentiments, so it would be good for scrapbooking also. But so I just heat embossed, or I'm going to heat emboss that large frame there on this piece of fun blue doodle star paper, and so I've sprinkled the embossing powder on there, and I kind of made a mess with my embossing powder. Oops, I wasn't paying very much attention, but that's okay. This stuff lasts forever, so that little bit that I'm kind of brushing off to the side there is not really gonna make a huge dent. So, and then I'm just gonna heat emboss this thin little frame. And what I'm going to do next is take my craft knife, and because I want this to be a frame as opposed to stamping in the middle there, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the middle out. And I did cut some of the embellishment out of the corner because I couldn't think of a good way to use my craft knife to get around those, so I just went ahead and cut them out. So now I've got that nice subtle frame left, and it's not like a huge detail, but it's enough detail to kind of frame that sentiment there. So you can see how that sentiment fits really nicely inside that frame. I really like the way that it turned out here. So now it's just basically to the assemblage part of the card. So I'm going to take that scalloped frame, and if you don't have these scallop frame dies, you could absolutely just use your paper trimmer and cut down a larger piece of cardstock and just leave a little bit of a trim around the outside, and I think that would look beautiful too. So I put down that solid frame there, and now I'm going to take the bright pattern piece of cardstock that I cut to go behind the vellum. And if when you're doing this, you do want to pick something to go behind the vellum that is really bright and bold so that it still shows through that vellum and you can still see the pattern. So I'm just going to place that in the middle there. And now I'm going to stick my vellum on the back of the frame that I've created. So I'm using my ATG gun just to go ahead and put some adhesive on the side. My fingers are sticking. There's not really a good place to put your hands while you're doing this. So I felt very like, what do I do with my hands? But it worked out. So you can see, oops, peeling it off. But fortunately, I didn't rip anything. I was really kind of nervous that I was going to yank it off there and rip it in half, but I didn't. Yes, it must be a non-clumsy day for me. So now I'm just lining that vellum up with that frame and just adhering that on there. And then I'm going to take my scissors and just kind of trim up any of the little pieces that didn't line up quite right. Since you don't really need to see behind there, it doesn't really matter if it's exact. So then now that that is complete, I'm just going to put some adhesive right around the very outside frame of that bold pattern paper, and that's going to allow me to adhere the frame with the vellum on there without any of that adhesive showing through. So now I'm going to stick that right on there. I almost glued it upside down. Man, talk about not paying attention. That would have been funny. But I caught myself, fortunately. Stuck it on there so that the card opens the right way, and you can see how that pattern paper kind of shines through, but it looks like that sentiment's kind of floating on top of the pattern paper. I just think it looks really cool. These are some sprinkles by Doodlebug. These are the fall collection, fall assortment, I believe. And the main reason I'm using these ones is because there's only 3 of each size in each color, and I needed 4, and I happen to have 2 of these, but it worked out because the green matches perfectly. So I went ahead and put those just right in the corners of that little embossed frame, and then the card is done. So just that easy. You can see I have a couple of them here, creating a cute little set, all with the same stamp set. So this is the stamp set that you can win, and I'm also giving away these 2 cards. So if you head over to my blog, it's curlycues.blogspot.com. There's a Rafflecopter giveaway. You have up to 6 entries that you can get, and I'm going to draw 3 winners. So that's going to be open all week. So go ahead and check that out. And thank you guys so much. Bye.